Hi folks, today's video is going to be my review of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. For those of you who are new to my channel, hi, welcome. For the last week I have done makeup looks using just this palette. I do have a series called One Palette a Week where I use a palette for 5 days and then at the end of the week I do a review on it. So this just happens to be the review for this palette. Okay, so first things first, the packaging itself, I don't like. People like it. I am not one of those people. It's nice and it's clean, like the font's nice and everything, but it's this like fuzzy velvet packaging that, to be honest, grosses me out. It gets really dirty. There's no way to properly sanitize the outside of this palette. Lysol wipe and clean it off like I do a lot of my other palettes when they get kind of like cruddy looking. So it kind of grosses me out, and I don't like reaching for a fuzzy palette. That's just me. The palette is actually so beautiful on the inside that I don't mind the packaging. It's just not my favorite thing to like touch. It just grosses me out. But yeah, that's really like pretty much one of my only cons to this palette is the packaging. Alright, opening it up, it does, I don't want to blind you guys, but opening it up, it does have a long mirror there. And then going into the 14 eyeshadow. So I'm sure at this point you guys have pretty much seen this palette. It's all mostly warm shades with a couple of highlights. You got your nice warm orangey yellow colors here, 2 highlight colors, your reds and pinks, as well as a really cool orange and then a dark brown. This palette definitely caters more towards those who like warm shades, which is me. 10 years ago, we never could find a beautiful burgundy shade like this that was that blendable and like just nice. Now I feel like this palette is being duped everywhere and people are constantly releasing like burgundy eyeshadow palettes. But anyway, so moving on to the price. Right now this is currently $55 Canadian. It does have 14 eyeshadow shades, so it works out to a little less than $4 an eyeshadow, which, I mean, really, $4 an eyeshadow, totally worth it. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because every single color in this palette is like mint. It is so good. I had never bought Anastasia eyeshadows before I bought this palette, and I'm pretty much going to be buying every single palette that they release after this because the quality is just insane. Very much like the Master Palette by Mario. So all the shades in this palette are opaque, they're pigmented, they blend really well with each other. You put your finger in them and they feel smooth. They're not too dry or anything like that. So a couple of my favorites, just to show one swatch. Let's just go through. Here's one of the shimmers. So, I mean, really, you guys are watching me do this right now. There you go. So one swatch in, finger swatches, and they're that pigmented. It really doesn't take much to build up the color on the eye. When you dip a brush in it, there is a little bit of kick up. A lot of people kind of mention that, like it does kick up product. It does, but at the same time, if you tap your brush off and you go in, it's just as pigmented really as you see in the pan, which is just incredible. There's not one shade in this palette that I don't like. There's a couple that I don't use as much as other ones, but that's just my personal preference. I'm more drawn to use these orange yellow shades here than I am to use kind of this more purpley shades here, but that's just me personally. It does come with a brush. I never use brushes in palettes. If that's something that you use, the brush itself isn't that bad. I've lost mine, it's somewhere now, like, Okay, so I'm keeping this review pretty short because I really have nothing bad to say about this palette. This is one of the best purchases and decisions that I've made for my own collection. So if you guys have the money to purchase this palette and it's back in stock, get it. It is so good. These are some of the best matte eyeshadows that I've ever used in my whole collection. A lot of people now, I'm sure, are going to ask me, like, you know, if I have to pick between Modern Renaissance and Master Palette by Mario, which one do I get? And I'm gonna say, if you're on a budget, pick which one that you like the colors out of most. That's really what it's gonna come down to. The quality for both are just amazing. But if you do have the money to get both because they're so good. I think that these are the best, most like reasonably priced eyeshadows on the market right now. That's for the most part easily accessible. I know that this one is limited edition and this one's kind of sold out a lot, but the second that it comes back in stock, just get it because it's fantastic. Because these eyeshadows blend so easily and all the colors are paired so well to work with one another, this palette is great for beginners and it's incredibly easy to use. You know, that means that you can use a couple of eyeshadow brushes that you have and you can make amazing looks out of it. So I definitely recommend that palette for a beginner. I think that if someone doesn't have this, it's a really good Christmas present, gift, Valentine's present, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend present, whatever. I think this is just like top of its game right now. So to be honest, I want to get a backup of it, even though I have like a lot of backups for palettes. Like, I don't know, it's just I worry about the day that I might not be able to have this. I do hope you like this review. Maybe it's not as in-depth, but it's just when I really like something, there's not much you can really say other than like, I like this, and I like this is good. So yeah, leave any comments down below of palettes and things that you'd like to see in the future. I am going to still sort of work through my own collection of things first, before I buy any sort of new palettes. But that being said, I might be introducing some that I got in the VIB sale, so stay tuned for that. As always, you can leave any comments down below, and I will always be honest with you guys if it's a palette that doesn't interest me or if it's not something that I'm going to be purchasing. I like to inform you guys of that and sort of stay open about that too. But yeah, so hopefully you guys are doing good, and until my next video, I'll talk to all you soon. Bye!